Hey, so welcome back, and we're going to do LeetCode problem 725 called split linked lists into parts. And so we're going to do just that. We're going to return a list of linked lists, and we're going to split them up into k lists. All right, so I'm assuming you already read the problem, so we'll go straight into implementation. And so the first thing that we're going to want to do in order to split this is get the length. And so let's get the length or the size of this linked list, which is typical code here. So let's just go and start at the head. And so we want to iterate through this entire linked list here. So we just keep going until we hit the tail. So as we go, we'll be measuring the length or getting the length of this linked list. So now that we have the length, then we want to actually split this into parts. And so we're going to create this list here, and this is what we're going to be returning at the end here. And so we want to split it into k parts. So let's go and we're going to iterate k times. So for each part, let's iterate over it. And so the first thing that we're going to want to do is figure out, okay, what is the sizes of these lists that we're creating? And so to do that, we want to get a base size as well as kind of an extra. I'm going to explain this in a second here. So a div mod of the length and k. And so what this really means is, say that we have a length of 8 here, and then k, we want to split it into 3 different parts. And so what that means here is that the base size is going to be basically 8 rounded down division of 2, or by 3, sorry, which results in 2. And then we're going to take the mod of this, so 8 modded by 3, and that's also 2. And so what that means here is that we're going to split this list of length 8 so that we have 2 nodes and then 2 nodes, and then let's think here, 2 nodes. But then that's this part, is what is the number of nodes on the base size for each of these, but then there's extra. So we have an extra 2 nodes that we can put here, and so we're just going to add 1 here and then 1 here, and then we ran out, and so basically this becomes 3, 3, then 2. Okay, that's the main kind of mathematical solution here, so make sure that this makes sense. Okay, so we're going to carry forward from here, and so now we want to actually build our list for each of these kind of parts here. So build our list for each part. And so to do that, the typical pattern here is that we have a dummy node, and so that's going to be a new list node that we create with some random value. And we're just going to start at this pointer here. And so we want to kind of mimic the same logic here of, okay, how many nodes we want to add for this particular part. Well, that's going to be basically the base size plus, if there's an extra, we're going to use it. So then extra is greater than 0. So as long as we have an extra, we'll do an extra node if we can. And so we're just saying here, okay, so the current dot next is going to be the node that we're looking at. So we want to kind of reset our node back to our head. So the current dot next is going to that node, and then the current is going to move to that node. So we're just iterating across the chain. And then we also want to update our node to then be pointing to the next node, so that we're constantly moving forward as well. Okay, so it's kind of like a 2-pointer method to iterate across this linked list. So node.next. So from here, because we just used an extra, what we're going to do is say, okay, if the extra is greater than 0, then we just used one in the previous iteration here when we were constructing our part. And so we're going to subtract 1 extra. And then from here, what we want to do is update the tail for this particular part to then be pointing to nothing now, because we want to cut off so that they're completely isolated linked lists here. So then current.next would be equal to none. And then the only other thing is we want to add basically, let's think here, the dummy.next. So that would be the head of this particular part here. And so invalid syntax for, I have to say for in range. Great, and let's try submitting, and success. So I hope this helped a little bit, and good luck with the rest of your algorithms. Thanks for watching.